Welcome to the Heel Heat on a 2-pen power trip again, because the third, Jaquan's out again, doing his little thing. I don't know. Out running a while.
Women's.
So I got with me today Cardarius Tybodu.
Oh, man. It's Kadarius Thibodeau, man.
Tybodu. And it's me, like always, Paulinho. It's never changed. It's always stay the same. You know what I'm saying? Somebody's got to be. Somebody's got to stay the same. You know? Tonight, SummerSlam PPV prediction show. Let's go. We at it. All right. Let's start off with the first one. Let's see here. Logan Paul versus The Miz. A lovely, lovely show. A lovely, lovely event we have here. To start this one off. Now, remember, this is where The Miz turned on Logan Paul at Mania. And then because Paul signed the contract, he was trying to get back to him. So that's the storyline. How do you see this one, Betty?
I really don't care. I really don't care. This is a celebrity match. I think 100% of the time, in recent memory, celebrities are just pretty much undefeated. And I don't think you would bring Logan Paul back in here just to have him lose, especially not to The Miz, because what does The Miz gain by beating him? I think because of the fact, like before, you would have to take into account, a guy like Tommaso Ciampa, who's just been hanging around and being The Miz is like, his little hitman or whatever of recent memory. But with Triple H taking over creative, I think this is a way to get rid of that and put Ciampa into a situation where he's in a lot more prevalent position. So
Right.
I could see the Ciampa Miz thing ending like immediately, just because it doesn't make any sense. So, like I said, I got Logan Paul here. Not that I have any love for Logan Paul, but I got him.
All right. I'll agree. The Miz can lose these matches. There's no problem for him to lose these matches, and can continue to feud for a little bit before, like you say, I agree, the Ciampa turn happens. I'm not. The lead up to this feud wasn't that great, and there Triple H did say, or did come out, he didn't say it or not, but it's coming out that literally he wants to use this pay-per-view as a starting point. So it's a lot of stuff's going to change and kind of shake things up. So for all we know, Ciampa might turn on Miz tonight. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. We don't know what's going to happen, because he's literally saying expect unexpected right now is where he's going at, because he's trying to restart everything to the way he wants it, which I get it and I agree. I'm not wrong with it. But let's see how he goes off on it. Sometimes you have to let things kind of simmer down before you can back up. But he wants to just kind of go boom. This is one of the biggest pay-per-views as per se, so I wouldn't see why not. Mm-hmm. But I agree. I'll take Logan Paul on this one. I'll take him on that. Jay had, who did Jay have? Jay also had Logan Paul as well, right? Yeah, he had Logan Paul as well. So pretty much unanimous, all three of us. Logan Paul. You see here the spreadsheet counts. And next one we have another somewhat celebrity match. a little bit. Our guy McAfee against Happy Corbin. How you looking at this one, Benny?
Listen, Pat McAfee needs to win every match that he's in. Period. Um, so I got McAfee here. I don't know if I'm going to go along the same lines as some of the other guys that are making predictions saying that this is going to eventually lead to McAfee versus Logan Paul. Like I personally don't see how we get there. Maybe like, all right, yeah, it's two new quote unquote celebrities, and you're just like, hey, let's do this match at WrestleMania. But no, um, I don't think that would be a good idea, especially because of the fact that like I know McAfee has been training his ass off, but at the same time, do you really want to throw in two guys who don't consistently go in the ring together at a WrestleMania? Get out of here. No, we're not doing that. So, Pat McAfee, the hell with Baron Corbin until he becomes Baron Corbin again. I'm not with it. All right. All about Pat McAfee. And like I said, the man needs to go undefeated for the rest of eternity.
I will agree. I think McAfee wins this one again as well because, as we know, Happy Corbin literally these matches doesn't win them. He's put in these matches because he's one of the safest wrestlers to work with. So you want that with your celebrity appearances in the matches. You want them to be okay. So you want somebody there that you know is going to protect them no matter what happens. So again, I think it's not a bad thing for Corbin. Some might see it as a bad thing, but the way I look at it is the fact that they are able to trust him with this. It's a good thing. It's a good thing for him, and I know he gets that respect in the locker room as being one of the safest ones there. There's videos out there where he literally, you see a botch happening, he literally catches somebody midair, and then like follows through just to kind of keep going with the match and the storyline. But he's saved a lot of wrestlers from major injuries or just hurting themselves by protecting them. So yeah, this one I think is a landslide. Did we all? Yeah, I think we all picked McAfee on this one. We all got McAfee. All right, next one is Judgment Day versus the Mysterios.
Okay. I'm trying to figure this one out, honestly, because all signs should be pointing towards Judgment Day winning this match, except for the fact that Edge did not make his return Monday because of some flight issues or whatever. He was supposed to make his return. And I'm starting to think that maybe at this point, especially because it's a no DQ, right off of the bat, there's going to be a ton of interference from Rhea Ripley. All right. So who's to say that at some point Ray or Dominic don't get, quote unquote, taken out? Ray or Dominic don't get, taken out and leave the other one in there to fend for themselves or whatever, and then Edge and Beth Phoenix return together or something like that. Beth neutralizes Rhea Ripley, and then you turn around, and you have Edge even the odds in that match to have the Mysterios win. So like I said, I don't know how this match is going to go. Just because of the Edge factor, I'm probably going to say the Mysterios, although I honestly don't care.
They said that they pulled Edge off of the show because they wanted his return to be something bigger. Might it be for SummerSlam? Maybe. If not tonight, then it'll be Monday. In regards to this, it's like, this is the thing, because this match was put on when Vince was still head of creative. So now it's like we have to look at this entire card as like match like this. We're probably not going to get like a second or third match. This is probably where it's going to end, because Tripp's probably going to just like hit the whole reset button. All right, you're done. Monday you start off with this one. Friday you start off with this one, or whatever. Mm-hmm. So on this one, I think, to me, Judgment Day wins it, and then Edge comes in to exact his revenge. on them. You know,
Definitely a possibility too.
he might come with Phoenix, like you're saying, to take care of Rhea Ripley. But I think he'll be back. I think he'll make his appearance, and I think he'll make it after the match, where I see it as the Mysterios are close to winning, and then they put some shenanigans, they win it, and then after the match is over, they just beat on them 3-on-2. You know, so I have. Let me see. Jay, who does Jay have? Jay has
Judgment Day. He's got Judgment Day.
got Judgment Day also.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you got Judgment Day.
Nah, I got the Mysterios.
You got the Mysterios.
Yeah.
All right, Mysterios. So all right, so okay.
That's with very little confidence, so like
All right, on to the next card. Next match is going to be the Almighty Bobby Lashley defending against Austin Theory. Another one where the switch happened in the last pay-per-view of Money in the Bank when Vince was a creative. Now, hopefully, Trips keeps this where it's supposed to be and keeps Bobby with the title, which is where I want it to stay, which is my pick right now. Bobby to retain, and it's gonna be a good match. It's gonna be a good match, not match of the night like I like the first time for me, in my opinion, which one of the best matches that on that pay per view. It won't be replicated this one. It's just there's other matches that I'm looking at it. But I see Bobby retaining this one, and then Austin Theory going somewhere else, and Bobby starting a new feud. What do you think, Benny?
Lashley retains because as long as Roman Reigns is the undisputed WWE Universal Heavyweight Champion of the Galaxy World, known universe, and all that other nonsense that they're calling him, um, we need to have a champion that's actually on TV and representative of what a champion should actually be. Um, Austin Theory recently has been beaten again and again and again and again and again and again and again. And I don't see like what momentum does he possibly have to to warrant giving him the championship at this point. If you're gonna make a championship feel special.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing with Theory is WWE, and like I said, this may change with the Triple H era as well, running creative, but WWE has this history with Money in the Bank winners. Of course, this doesn't count for the women because aside from Carmella, their reigns don't ever last more than a day with the Money in the Bank briefcase. But with the men, when they win the briefcase, next thing you know, they turn around and they just lose nonstop going forward until they just pop up out of nowhere and cash in the Money in the Bank contract. But I'm just like, so that's just me giving you like a roundabout explanation as to why it is that I don't think Theory has any opportunity or any chance whatsoever to win this match. So I got Lashley, and like y'all go ahead.
Next match, probably your favorite.
Wait,
Liv
did you
Morgan.
pick?
Huh?
Did you pick?
Yeah, I had Bobby retaining.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So all right, you got Liv Morgan defending against Ronda Rousey. It's one of those where it's like you want Liv to win. They're pushing it, and I could see it. And she's actually popping off too, saying that hey, I want this. I work my ass off for this. I train and all that. What are you doing when you're done? When I'm done, I go back. I go back and train and work out. You're back in to the farm and all this other stuff. So shots are being fired. I think Liv Morgan retaining, but I think something else is going to happen. I think they're going to set up Ronda's next feud with this match as well. That's the way I see it. But the other thing to think about is let's remember Ronda had said when she was coming back, she wanted to come back as a heel, but it didn't work out that way because she came out with a pop, and Vince was like, "Nope, you're gonna be a face. You're gonna be a face, Ronda." So I could see where Tripp's like, you know what? Let's put you at the heel, and this is where she actually becomes a heel tonight. She might not win it, but she might end up being a heel tonight. She makes her flip. I have Liv Morgan retaining though.
Mm. All right. On my end, did you get you saw Jay's message?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I think there's a couple of things that we need to take into account here when it comes to this match. First and foremost, Liv Morgan is the champion right now because Ronda Rousey told them, I want somebody to take this belt off me that is the most deserving person to take it off. And that ended up being Liv Morgan. So this is legitimately all Ronda's suggestion. As far as Ronda's next opponent, because like you know me, Liv Morgan is my pick. There's no reason for me to even go over that. Um, there's a bunch of different thoughts flying around right now, whereas you have the potential return of Charlotte, you have the potential return of Bayley, you have all of these different rumors and stuff that are circulating around right now that Stephanie and Triple H are reaching out to Sasha Banks and Naomi trying to get them back. So who's to say that one, if not all of those things potentially happening? And you already got beef between Ronda and Charlotte. That'll take Ronda out of the title picture right then and there. Um, Bayley, I don't know that Bayley's a wild card just because of the fact that she got hurt while she was feuding with Bianca Belair. So they could technically just bring her back and put her over on Raw. But at the same time, she was out there doing this little thing with Liv on Twitter where I don't did you peep that beforehand?
Mm.
Where Bayley was just like, she was so proud of her and all of this other stuff, and Liv didn't respond, and Bayley was just like, I think I deserve a response or some message. So I don't know if she was trying to start something or just trying to be Bayley and be funny. So, like I said, I don't know what was going on there, but hey, they could sit up there and they could build anything out of that. So, like I said, this is just me going off thinking like just trying to put out there all of the different possibilities that could come out of this, but you if you take the title off of Liv Morgan this fast, just like you did Nikki Ash last year, you devalue every bit of the money in the bank. On top of the fact that in this case, it's a lot more egregious because last year, Nikki wasn't everybody's top choice. She just happened to win because she got the character change, and Vince was like, let's give her a little bit of a push and see what happens. All right. Last year, if you remember, everybody was on Liv Morgan. So this is like a year after the fact, and she's already, like I said, she's sitting up there and gotten all of this organic crowd support and everything behind her. So I'm just like, keep striking while the iron is hot. Ride the train till the fucking tracks run out, whatever it is. All right, Live for the win, and we just gonna keep it trucking from there.
I'm not surprised.
I mean,
All
I
right.
am her bodyguard, so
Yeah. Let's go on to the next one. The tag team titles up for defense. The Usos against Street Profits with Jeff Jarrett as a special guest referee, which is kind of funny because he's got his match tomorrow with Jay Lethal against Andrade and Ric Flair for Ric Flair's last match. Interesting how they pulled this off. I like it. I like it that they did this for Jeff Jarrett because it's in Nashville. I don't know, man. These guys keep going back and forth, and I feel like they've literally given us like they're sowing the seeds of a split for the Street Profits. Like they're giving it. If you're not paying attention, to me, they're giving it. the question is, how long is it going to be? You know, is Trips gonna be like, you know what? I'm pulling the trigger tonight. They're breaking up tonight. Or is he continuing to sow the seeds for a later, like down the line, like towards the end of the year? That's something to look at. But I have the Usos retaining though. I have the Usos retaining tonight.
Whew. I think Jay got the Usos as well.
Yes.
All right. This match right here to me is one of those matches where the change in creative kind of throws me for a loop. Right off of the bat, had this still been the Vince McMahon regime, I would have just been like, all right, the Usos are winning, no question. But there's a couple of things that go in. Number one, what is the purpose of a special guest referee? Always, 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 always to get involved in the match. It's going to happen regardless of what anybody thinks. Now, the question is, in what capacity are they going to get involved in the match? Right? Jeff Jarrett got super kicked last night by the Usos. It was unintentional, but he got super kicked. So, does that play into it? Are they, like I said, I know they were sowing the seeds for the Street Profits, splitting up and everything. Does that change under Triple H? And the fact that Roman is on this card, does that change the fortune of the Usos being like, with them, like with them being out there without Roman Reigns, they're not going to lose the championships because you need to have the reaction from Roman if they ever do. But what about this case? Roman's there. So, like I said, there's a lot of factors that you can point to say, okay, the Street Profits could possibly pull this off. But at the same time, if you look at those factors in the opposite, you can kind of sort of say, no, that's not the case as well. Jeff Jarrett, he's a special guest referee. Special guest referees 99 times out of 100 are heels. So he's, trying to talk about calling it down the middle, and his job is count 3, counting all this other stuff. But is he going to do something? Is he going to hit somebody with a guitar? Is he going to Is he gonna call somebody? Like we have no freaking idea. And like this is right here, this match is the match, aside from the Judgment Day Mysterio match, that I'm legitimately the most conflicted about as to how it's gonna go. I'm gonna go the safe route and go with the Usos retaining. But I would not be surprised if the Street Profits pull this off.
Yeah, I can see it. I agree. But that's the thing is that the change in the creative team has literally messed things up because Trips is going to put his stamp on everything now going forward, which we're not opposed to. We've been wanting that for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
We've even said that Vince needs to step down, and I sent you guys the link to that video from was that Cultaholic?
Yeah, I had heard something about that before they put that video up.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So it's like they're saying that he had memory issues. Okay, so now it's coming up, right? Now that he's out, all these issues are coming up that he had and he was going on. But when he was in power, it was like, he still got it. He's still in touch. What are you talking about? He knows what he's doing, isn't that? Nobody's saying he never knew what he was doing. He was just out of touch. He just never had new ideas. He was recreating everything all over again, retreading old wheels, retreading old stories. It's like he did this like 10 years ago and 20 years ago and 30. Like, come on, there's fresh stuff out there you can do. Maybe you could do the same thing, just tweak little things here and there, So it's gonna be great to finally see Trips in power and see what he can do. Let's see what happens tonight. And Benny, I'm sorry, you said you had the Usos?
Yeah.
Damn, we have all been picking the same thing tonight. The only difference is you picking the Mysterios.
Yeah.
All right, this should be a good one. Bianca defends against Becky Lynch.
Ah.
Benny, would you like to start?
Of course, I would like to start. Bianca Belair is going to win this match. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. The only question is how exactly do they do this? Do you, as WWE, do you give Bianca Belair, because the match last year was 26 seconds, do you give her the victory in less time to further this Becky Lynch downward spiral type thing, so that she'll completely break that character down so she can build herself back up? Or do you just give them, a 15-20 minute match for them to go at it and be the superstars that they are and just end this feud? I personally don't know. I don't want the 26-second thing, because like that will legitimately be, in my case, be too much. I would say just let Becky and Bianca go out there, have a brawl, have them, legitimately like, beat the living hell out of each other for 15-20 minutes, and then just end that feud. Dead it right then and there. Have Bianca be like, all right, you're on the back burner at this point now. Go back, figure yourself out, whatever it is, and then have her move on to Alexa Bliss, I think it is next. I'm not too sure I really want that either at this point, although Bianca versus Alexa would be kind of funny because Bianca could literally toss Alexa into space. But but other than that, like I said, yeah, Bianca's my pick. I don't know where else to go from there, man.
All right. So looking at your perspective as well, because of the creative, do you go with a match that's under 26 seconds? And like I told you guys, keep an eye on that Becky story. There's that whole downward spiral that like I'm losing it. Like that shit been going on. I told y'all. You can continue that downward spiral and you can make it worse by having Bianca beat her in 20 seconds. Do we want it? No. Do they deserve to have a good long match? Yes. But for storyline purposes, I think it's not out of the question that they get that they do it in 20 seconds and Bianca wins. I'm also picking Bianca. So I don't put it out there. So don't be surprised. I'm telling you right now, don't be surprised if this match goes 20 seconds, like Benny's saying, and like I'm agreeing to. Benny was scared to pull that trigger, but I am not. Do not be surprised if this match is 20 seconds.
I just don't like that shit.
Huh?
I just don't like this shit.
Oh, no, I know you don't like it because like I'm saying, because let's be honest, they don't deserve a 20-second match. They don't. But that's what I'm saying. For story purpose wise, I could see it being done. Because Becky holds that on Bianca's head. I beat you 26 seconds. I could do it again. I could beat you whenever I want. So what is it? So like, is it one of those where like, okay, if Bianca can get past 26 seconds, then she can win the match. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But if she beats her in 20 seconds, it's like, well, that's out of the questions. I beat you in 20, beat me in 26. So it's like, we're still there. If she beats her in 20, it's only because of what we're going to at the end. That's the only reason why I see that just a second match going. For storyline purposes and set up that other thing we're going to talk at the end. So pretty much, again, all in agreement, it's Bianca Belair. Go to the main event. Main event of the evening. Brock Lesnar coming again, back at it for that title. I think we can all agree, literally, this is not going to be Brock's night. This is a last man standing match. This is for the title, whatever. But we know Brock's story. He's a part-timer. I don't blame him. The man gets paid a lot of money. Hey, you deserve it. You did what you did. You put the hard work in everything you've done. You deserve this stuff. That's all you. But the way they use it is annoying. So I digress. I don't think Brock should beat him. Should beat Roman because you want to continue this whole tribal chief storyline as much as possible. And if he beats him tonight, even if it's for one of the titles, still doesn't help. because of the fact that now the biggest person you have in your industry right now, just lost to a part timer. Even though it's Brock, it don't matter. You want to go into the match against The Rock undefeated. But like I said, there's something else I look at it because you want both titles to be defended at WrestleMania. You don't want just one of them. You're taking one match away. That's a conversation for another day. So I have Roman winning this one, and I will claim shenanigans. The Usos will get involved in this one. I could see it. I could see all three of them getting involved and just to beat Brock Lesnar. So I see Roman retaining.
All right. I got Roman retaining as well. I don't see how anybody could think that moving from one part timer to another part timer would be a good thing as far as being the champion. So, like I said, and this honestly needs to this feud needs to die. It's been going on for literally 7 years. Like this is over. There's no reason to continue doing this. Everybody, even the people involved, are tired of this feud. So this needs to stop, honestly. So I got Roman. That way we can kill this feud dead completely. Hopefully the next time Brock comes in here is for something or someone other than Roman or whatever, and we just take it from there. So the question though is, do we get cash in? I don't personally think we do. I think he's gonna go out there. If you remember the what match? That was, matter of fact, it was Brock and Roman. SummerSlam a couple of years ago when Strowman had the briefcase. And he tried to cash in, and Lesnar was just like, "Yeah, we're not doing this," and he took the briefcase and like threw it somewhere.
That's crazy.
Yeah, we're not dealing with this, not this time.
Not that time. All right, so this is what we're gonna talk about. We're gonna talk about Seth Rollins, and if he has a match, and against who. So literally, what happened is, I don't know where his match with Riddle was kayfabe called off because Riddle got a kayfabe injury. So he has no match. He tweeted, a message like, "Hey, if you bought a ticket, I'm sorry, I'm not going to be in the match. Whatever, if they hear you, whatever." So Trips pretty much, I hear you. So he may end up having a match with a surprise opponent. Jay says it'll probably be. He thinks it's Johnny Gargano. And if it is, Johnny wins. And I don't disagree with that because Trips has been saying he wants to bring his people back in. And Johnny was one of his. And Ciampa's still there. So I don't see why Johnny doesn't come back. So some might say far-fetched, but I don't see it as not being far-fetched. What are your thoughts, Benny? Who do you think, if Rollins has a match, and this is why I said this is why I said I wouldn't be surprised if the Bianca Belair Becky Lynch match is 20 seconds for two reasons. One for the storyline and one for this match that's coming up with the Seth Rollins and the mystery opponent.
I was gonna say what could possibly counteract that though is the fact that Roman Brock shouldn't be too long. But then again, we're talking about Roman Reigns, whose entrance is a mandatory 15 minutes long. So may not necessarily, make up any time with that, his match being shorter. This is interesting. I hadn't really put in any thought as to who could possibly be the opponent because the first thing that popped in my head was Randy Orton. But Randy Orton is still out injured. He still got this back and neck issue. Well, back issue, not neck. Then you start to go to the potentials as far as returns. I hadn't heard anything, as far as through like the sources and everything, the Fightful Select, and all the other guys. It's just been people throwing names out there. The potential of Johnny Gargano returning. You brought up Karrion Kross earlier to see if he could come back. I don't necessarily know. Like, now, granted, they possibly could have worked something out over the past week that Vince has been gone, but I don't know how burned were those bridges when people got released and everything like that. We don't know yet. Um, then you have a serious wild card that I don't want to actually beat, and that's the Fiend. Do you bring Bray Wyatt back in this situation? Bray's been, for the past, 3-4 months tweeting all kinds of cryptic nonsense and everything like that, like he normally does when he's in character. But do you bring him back here for another match against Seth Rollins? And do you risk that? Because the moment that people say Bray Wyatt and Seth Rollins, the first thing they go to is Hell in a Cell 2019. I don't think that's a good idea. So like the choices are wild. Um, I would personally, if I was in this situation, like in Triple H's shoes, if I didn't have the luxury of calling back somebody to actually come in and wrestle him, I would say throw a Braun Breaker in there. You go Braun Breaker versus Seth Rollins. You get eyes on NXT that wouldn't necessarily be on NXT. This is a guy that we featured on that side of that's a guy we feature on that brand. And because of the fact that Vince is no longer in charge and I am, you know, this is my way of putting those eyes on there to say we're going to start treating NXT like it's something special again. So, in my case, I think it's going to be somebody from NXT. I'm just going to throw the name Braun Breaker out there just to be, on the safe side because that's really the only name I can think of right now. But and if it is that, then Rollins absolutely needs to win, but it needs to be a competitive match.
Here's the thing. Seth Rollins is one of those that can actually lose. Like Kevin Owens, he could lose. It won't make a difference because he'll still get that push. And it's not a bad thing. It's because of the fact he's that good. He's easy to push and get him back into rhythm. You know what I mean? There's other wrestlers, like if they lose, it's harder to put them into rhythm to win, to get back into the title picture. You know?
Mm-hmm. Now, I hear
If
you.
with
The the
yours,
re-
with yours,
my
I think
bad.
Braun needs to win though. Braun Breaker needs to win. It'll look bad for for that champion to lose.
Not necessarily. On the other thing is like if you're putting it out there as if he's a feature guy, but he's not yet at that level. This is a guy who has been at the absolute apex of WWE in Seth Rollins versus a guy who's still on his ascent. Then you can kind of sort of play it like that. That's why I'm saying the match still needs to be competitive. So you
Mm-hmm.
can get over in defeat if you're Braun Breaker in that situation. But in if you're gonna go out there and you're just gonna have Seth like squash this dude, then yeah, then I have a problem with it.
Right.
But the reason why I'm saying Rollins needs to win the match is because of the fact that if you look at Rollins, his pay-per-view losing streak isn't the same as AJ Styles, who hasn't won a pay-per-view match in like a year. But in in his case, ever since I want to say December, because I don't remember what happened between Royal Rumble and WrestleMania, but I know that Rollins had not really won a lot recently on pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, like, unless he won a match at some point between Royal Rumble and WrestleMania, then it's been since 2021, and it's time to get him a win.
Here's one me and Jay talked about earlier this week, and you saw the chat. From out of nowhere, the man's been quiet, hasn't been on anybody's radar for quite some time. Velveteen Dream. He has been quiet, out of sight, out of mind for everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Uh
And that's a match that Seth could lose still, giving Velveteen Dream the pop that he deserves, and giving him a nice start on the main roster.
Here's
Or
my
if he
question in
doesn't
return for
win,
that.
huh?
Here's my question in return for that. Is Triple H, and I'm not going to even say to a lesser extent, probably to a greater extent, Stephanie McMahon, are they ready to take on the potential heat from bringing Velveteen Dream back? Especially in the climate that they're already in with Vince.
I think they're all right because I think if I remember correctly, his release wasn't due to that investigation. It was due to other things. Like remember the whole thing with the car and like the windows, and he lied about it. It
Mm-hmm.
was dumb shit like that that got him in trouble. Plus, he apparently the rumor was he was trying to get arrogant, and that was causing him issues in the locker room. So, if he was able to humble himself on this in this time, that would be an interesting comeback for him, especially like on Trips' first pay-per-view. You know, because nobody's willing to touch him. He's been like toxic, radioactive toxic since they released him. I don't know if he's been on the indie scene at all, to be honest.
I don't think so. I haven't really heard anything about it.
Yeah. So if he retired, we don't know because that wasn't put out either. You know, but if Velveteen Dream goes on, I have Velveteen Dream winning, taking that one W. Get that nice start to the main roster.
Well, if you're gonna bring somebody from outside, then 99 times out of 100, that person is gonna get the win. Like I say, if you're talking about bringing somebody up from NXT, you got a returning superstar or something like that. Like just for argument's sake, say Randy Orton is available and Randy Orton comes back. There's still a chance that Seth Rollins does win that match. Versus if you're bringing a guy back like Velveteen Dream, or if you're bringing the Johnny Gargano in, or Karrion Cross or something like that, I don't think that they really have a chance to lose because you're gonna be starting them off way on the wrong foot if that's the case.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, I agree. The NXT people, if you call them up just to be there for the pay-per-view, they could lose, and there's no problem with them losing as long as it's a competitive match.
Mm-hmm.
Where, like you were saying, Braun Breaker doesn't have to win, but because he's a champion, it should be competitive. We're like, hey, you're good, but you're just not there yet. Even though you're the
Here's
champion, you're not there yet.
here's an idea that could also fly in this situation. What about Carmelo Hayes? I think the styles would match up a little bit better versus just strong guy versus Seth Rollins, whatever you put his category in.
And that would work because if they're given the time. Again, that's why I said don't be surprised if that Bianca Belair Becky Lynch match is 20 seconds in order to give the Seth Rollins match more time. Because right now on the card there's like 8 matches, I think. And which one's going to be on the pre-show?
Probably Mysterios and Judgment Day.
I was actually
Looking at you know what? Never mind. I'm not gonna say that because the other one could potentially be the Usos and Street Profits.
no, I was thinking Bobby Lashley and Austin Theory
That could do it too.
because of the fact that it's just I don't know the weird thing. But the thing is that's Vince McMahon with Trips. It's like you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
You just don't know. Like you can't put the separately matches as the on the pre-show. You can't. They're celebrities, so they need to be on the main card. That's why they're there
Yeah.
for. That's why they get paid for. You know, I don't know which match I see can go into the pre-show. I'm looking. I'm like, the Usos kind of make sense.
You know what? I'm thinking about that. It doesn't make sense because of Jeff Jarrett.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, Jeff Jarrett. So the only one to me, the only one that makes sense is the Bobby Lashley Austin Theory because we've seen them put that title on the pre-show before.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not far fetched.
Yeah, this is a rough one to think of.
Yeah.
That makes sense, especially if you're going to go with the idea that Theory is going to cash in,
Yeah.
because that gives him a rest period. Especially if he's going to go in and cash in, honestly, during the match.
And and even if he doesn't, it's just to kind of fuck with your head, like, oh, he could. Like, he doesn't even have to cash in. He could just kind of like come out on the ramp,
Mm-hmm.
and just kind of like, oh yeah, I got this still. Because they're messing. Roman's messing with him because since he has both main titles, he's going at Roman knows he's coming after him.
Mm-hmm.
There's no other choice, even though it says you have a chance for a title. Now it'll be some funny dumb shit if he cashes in on Bobby Lashley.
I would
But
legitimately be so mad if somebody actually did that. The win cash in on a title that wasn't the main title. Like literally, like we've spoken about this before. The only way that that works out is if you do it with Charlotte, and Charlotte goes and cashes in on the men's title. Because, like I said, WWE has arbitrary rules. They can change them whenever they want.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, they have a women's Money in the Bank, but does it say that the women's Money in the Bank has to go after the women's championship? No. And if you're gonna put somebody out there, if it's not gonna be like a Tamina or somebody like that with the guy, since Nia Jax isn't available, who else is there? Charlotte.
Because the wording literally says you could cash it in for a world title. Does it say
At
gender
any time.
specific? Does it say
Like I said,
was it say title or world title?
no, it says a title shot, but it's understood that it's the world championship.
Yeah, so that even then, a title shot. So it doesn't specify which belt. It could be any belt. You can form a
Yeah.
tag team and go for a tag team title belt. You can go to the women's NXT and go for the women's NXT title.
That's what I'm
Like,
saying. I would legitimately hate that though, because like to me that is a complete waste of time.
it is, because to me, the whole point of Money in the Bank is, hey, it's like a get out of jail free card. Like, yo, we
Mm-hmm.
messed up on extending his title run. Oh, we got Money in the Bank, get out of jail free. Boom, buy us some time or whatever, or let's say like Roman gets hurt, right, and he's going to be out of action for 6 months. So he gets into a match where he can actually kind of do something, cash it, boom, bam, cashed in. Belts are off of him temporarily. Instead of having him stay at home 6 months to recover, and then like, okay, something's really bad, and they're not being defended.
Mm-hmm. You know what
So
would be awesome though, and actually make this feel a lot more likely that a cash in would happen. Let's just say, for argument's sake, instead of this being a last man standing match, it was a ladder match. Theory comes out in the middle of the match. The two of them are laid out. Cashes in, scoops up the ladder as fast as humanly possible, grabs those belts, and then he's the champion. Neither one of them ended up getting pinned.
nope, no. So Roman is still strong because he didn't lose because he wasn't
Right.
pinned. It was that whole shenanigans bullshit with, like, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Same thing like if it was like a triple threat match. He didn't lose. He lost the titles, but he wasn't pinned.
Yep.
So that's why I'm saying, that's why I can see him losing one of the titles before Mania.
If
In
they
some
separate
way.
them.
You have to.
They
Same with the
need to,
Usos.
but
Same with the Usos. I just don't know when that's going to happen, or if it's going to be the Street Profits.
mm-hmm.
So yeah, because I don't know if they're, because again, Mania is a 2-night event, and usually you want all your belts defended within those 2 nights.
No, what they're going to end up doing at that point, I can pretty much see that you're going to have both women's titles being on the first night versus having them on having them on night 2. That's pretty much the only way I could see them doing that. One of the women's titles is going to main event like it has the last couple of years.
Yeah. I don't know. It's amazing to see what they do. Tonight's gonna be a good one because it's Trips' first pay-per-view.
Yep.
So everybody's excited. There's like rejuvenated energy for the show. And the word is that the locker room and everybody, they're all like rejuvenated because they have more faith now because there's actually somebody that, not that he knows what he's doing, but easy to talk to and is more liable to create stuff that works with you. LA Knight already came back. He was supposed to be written off, but he came back last night from what I heard.
Yep.
So he's working with him on that. Now, something I kind of glanced at was apparently those tryouts that they were looking at, Dwight Howard in them. Apparently they were bad. There's a rumor supposedly they were bad, and that WWE is going to go back to like getting some indie wrestlers with backgrounds because
obviously they need to. Like,
yeah. So I don't think because it's one of those where they're not going to have time to train them fully. You know?
I honestly never understood that, and I don't want to get too far on like a rant or anything like that. But why would you make the decision to go out there? I understand you want to go out there and you want to make it so that you're molding everybody from the base up, so that you're not having to sit up there and deal with people coming to you with all of these ideas and everything that you don't want to put into place, Vince. But at that point, you get a guy who's been playing basketball or running track their entire life and try and turn them into, somebody who's going to be main eventing WrestleMania some year. How exactly does that work?
Mm-hmm.
Rather than putting somebody out there who's dedicated their entire life to actually learning the craft of wrestling and knows how to tell a story in the ring.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
But I digress. Yeah. Hopefully that shit is over and done with.
Yeah, like I said, the Ember Moon Athena interview was very, very telling when she goes and says how NXT was before Trips, how was it after, and how it was for her on the main roster. The creative teams and how it's being run between Trips and Vince is so much eye-opening. Like, we had an idea, but the way she said it was like, yeah, I didn't know that, but I'm not surprised. But with that, thank you all for joining us. Enjoy tonight's pay-per-view. It should be a good one, especially with Trips being the head of creative now. And let's see where he takes everything going forward. Hope AEW is ready for this because it's not Vince anymore. It's not that same old. It's NXT, and Trips has it now with the main roster. And there's no holding him back. Because before, I think Vince was holding him back. But there's none. He is the man in charge. He has the last say. Let's see where it goes. Any last words, Benny?
Liv Morgan for president.
All right, everybody. We out.